I hate this because you have a good concept. Like, I do have a lot of respect for true pacifists. Here in TCW, you have the people who are pacifists being portrayed as incompetent idiots. The Lerman and Satine. So I hate that, because if it was tackled well, that would be a great concept to have in a kids show. And I wish they'd done that rather than focusing on violence. Shades of reason. So I was going to say at the end of the last episode, Pre Vizsla's goal was to take back Mandalore and rule over it the way they always wanted to. And then Maul says, you get what you want, you just have to, be an army for me. And Pre Vizsla's all like, I don't like that. Like, on the one hand, it makes sense, because it's like, well, he doesn't want to be subservient to anybody, right? Like, he doesn't want to be at Maul's beck and call. But on the other hand...
Stop it!
Kitty! I'm trying to say important things here. Don't ally yourself with anybody. I mean, it says it can stall, not it will stall, but still, it seems like it's saying don't make connections or alliances, or because it can stall true intentions.
I feel like this is more applicable to my Rebels fan fiction than it is to this show.
Well, it's also, how do you stall intentions? Like, you can stall progress. That's what stall means. It's to slow down, stop. But, like, you can't do that to intentions. Intentions are a concept. They're an idea. I don't understand anything.
They sacrifice common sense for the sake of sounding deep.
Yeah.
Darth Maul and Savage Opress conspire with Pre Vizsla and the Death Watch.
His name is Vizsla, so why is this guy now Vizsla? It's like Benedict Cumberbatch saying penguins. Does nobody along the line say, hey, by the way, can you retake that because you pronounced that wrong?
Yeah, he seems to do that more than once, if I recall correctly.
Because he says Isla instead of Ayla.
If we try to take Mandalore by force, our people will turn against us.
He literally just said it the last episode. Oh, there are people who will, join us, when they see our force and that we're bringing Mandalore back to the true way, and, this is what they want, and if we bring it back by force, the people will turn against us.
Seems a little contradictory.
Just ever so slightly inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
This is something actually I note in the script I'm writing right now, that Ahsoka is helping Bo-Katan take the planet back by force using Republic forces. What is it the traitor's prime minister mentions? Like, basically, because they're causing war on Mandalore, which, the people don't want that. They want peace. And Ahsoka is just, like, backing Bo-Katan the whole way, even as she hears, the people don't want this. The people will turn against me if this carries on any longer. The people are upset, etc., etc., etc. And Ahsoka's just like, yeah, let's do this. Let's go for this. Let's push this harder. Let's, gotta end it. She's backing her the whole way as red flag after red flag after red flag goes by. Literally all she is doing is taking the planet out of the hands of a crime lord and giving them into the hands of a terrorist. Ahsoka's so great. She's freeing the people of Mandalore, giving them what they want and need.
I will use my army of crime lords to attack different targets across Sundari. Then you and your Death Watch will capture and arrest us, bringing order where Satine's weak government could not.
We'll be saviors.
Maul is he's crafting a scenario to make someone who is bad look like the hero because of how they're being framed within that scenario. He is literally the TCW writers putting Ahsoka into TCW, because that's exactly what we've been saying over and over and over again. The writers are crafting this, they are framing this in such a way so that the audience walks away with a positive view of Ahsoka, even though the actual, facts of the matter are showing the opposite. So now we know who's writing TCW. It's Maul.
If Maul was writing TCW, he would be doing that with Maul, not with Ahsoka.
Yes. But you understand my metaphor.
It's a risk to trust those monsters.
Then we execute Maul and those thugs. Those criminals will scatter and Mandalore will be ours.
He doesn't understand how power vacuums work, do they? So I guess he's saying he thinks he's powerful enough to take out Maul and Savage. Why wouldn't he want to hang on to that power, though? He's like, oh, I just want to get rid of all of this power. This, no, thank you. I'll squash the top dog and then the rest will run away. And I think what they're trying to do here is they're trying to show Satine, like, slowly realizing this is a bad idea, but still, like, so far it's not been enough.
You mean Bo-Katan, not Satine?
I'm sorry, I keep saying Satine when I mean Bo-Katan. She seems more concerned about, like, she's like, these guys are too evil for us. She's not saying, I'm worried about where this is going, right? Because, yeah, she still knows the plan is to kill Satine. That's not her issue here. Her issue is that these guys are too evil, too powerful. We bit off, more than we can chew with, bringing them on board. That's her concern. It's got nothing to do with Satine.
The promise of wealth will find us a new face on Mandalore. You have learned well, my apprentice.
Savage is better off than Ahsoka.
I still feel bad for Savage.
I know.
It's just, his whole entire story arc just makes me sad.
The shipping docks are under attack.
By whom? The Death Watch?
No, it appears to be a crime syndicate. Our guards are helpless against their numbers, and the people are demanding we do something to stop them.
So this is why pacifism ultimately doesn't work. Because as soon as you have somebody who just wants to watch the world burn, you can't respond to that with peace, because they don't want peace. President Roosevelt said, speak softly and carry a big stick. So basically, in your manner, be peaceful, but have a way to defend yourself.
I think I like Hondo's version of that line better. Speak softly and drive a big tank.
Exactly. Except Hondo doesn't actually speak softly, but I hate this because you have a good concept. Like, I do have a lot of respect for true pacifists who understand that line, but they live their lives peacefully. Here in TCW, you have the people who are pacifists being portrayed as incompetent idiots. The Lerman and Satine. Because, yeah, they're just running over Satine and she's going, oh no, oh no, oh no. I don't know what to do.
The
Where do we
displays
go?
of violence.
Yeah,
from Satine.
and she's hypocritical. Mm-hmm. So I hate that, because if it was tackled well, that would be a great concept to have in a kids show. And I wish they'd done that rather than focusing on violence and promoting violence.
Having a character who they paint as a patron saint, adoring violence.
I need you all to remain calm. These attackers are just thugs. Bisla, you must be the one responsible for these attacks.
Oh, it's gotta be Death Watch, Death Watch, Death Watch, Death Watch, Death Watch, Death Watch. There exists other forces in the universe. And then, yeah, she's like sitting up there in all her finery, just telling, calm down, these are just thugs, you'll be fine. Don't look at them and they won't bother you.
This is a war, and we will win.
Groups of people that are always in complete agreement with each other. It's like politics is black and white. Zone where it's still black and white, but they say it's not black and white, and Ahsoka's like, I learned that politics are not as black and white as I used to think. And then she goes on to be like, yo, Republic! Republic brother win! Republic, Republic, Republic! Separatists are evil! For like the rest of the show.
Except when Obi-Wan and Anakin wanna go defend Coruscant.
And then she's like, oh, you lapdogs!
Politics suck.
We need action, not pacifism.
Pacifism does not equal inaction, and we actually thankfully did get to see that in the Lerman episode where Wag 2, the healer, they have a response for those like crazy griffin creature things. He's able to take them out without violence. He doesn't just stand there and go, okay, eat me. There's nothing I can do. I must be completely inactive. Because that is what pacifism is. And like that's what his father, the Lerman Elder, acts like. Oh no, we can't do anything because we're pacifists.
Yeah.
And this is how the show mostly, except for that, I think that's literally like, yeah, Wag 2 and the younger citizens of the Lerman, they do act. But yeah, with Satine and the Lerman Elder and, you know, how Pre Vizsla is presenting it here, it's like the writers have this twisted idea of pacifism, that pacifism equals inaction. Because I think what they were doing with Wag 2 was that he was going against pacifism. He wasn't maintaining his pacifist beliefs and defending himself. They have him argue with his father. His father says that he's going against their beliefs to defend themselves against the separatists. So it's not actually set up that Wag 2 is preserving his beliefs while defending himself. It's that he's going against them in order to defend himself. So the writers have this horrifically twisted view of pacifism that is equivalent to inaction.
There's only like one instance where Satine practices self-defense. And I think it was painted as acceptable in that moment. But yeah, the rest of the time, they're like, pacifism equals inaction.
Again, the writers obviously do not understand what pacifism is. And so you can't tell me that, oh, in that episode they, you know, portrayed it properly. They knew what they were doing over there, but they don't over here, right? Like, either they know or they don't know. And given the majority of the time, I'm pretty sure they did not know what they were doing then either. And so I think it just comes back to character inconsistency, because TCW is a garbage show that I hate very much. Why did you ever talk me into this? It was supposed to be fun time.
Stupidly thought it was a good show.
It sounds like they're saying war, and the subtitles are saying Vizsla.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
As you wish, Lord Maul.
It's Lord Maul now.
Because they're allies, they're not using deadly force. So technically, they're acting pacifistically. They're doing what Wag 2 did. They're defending themselves without violence. And again, it shows just how little the writers know about true pacifism. Because they're just like, yeah, the Death Watch taking down these, you know, gangsters by force. Completely antithetical to pacifism.
Do you hear the people? They cry out for change. The resurrection of our warrior past is about to begin.
The people didn't want to be overrun by criminals. That doesn't mean they want to go back to living under the religion of violence.
Or maybe they just kind of looked at Satine, saw how much of a hypocrite she was, and then looked at the Death Watch practicing pacifist beliefs, and they're like, yeah, we're going with them.
Satine could have been such a good character.
Yeah.
Just like Ahsoka could have been such a good character.
But hypocrisy?
Peace exists only in the minds of the faithful.
If that's the case, then she's asking quite a lot from her people. Because if peace exists only in your mind, then, yeah, you're just expected to roll over.
That's exactly...
while everything is going to hell in a handbasket. And like, peace. I'm thinking peaceful thoughts.
Well, it's exactly what the Lerman Elder requires.
Exactly!
Lay down, let them tromp on your heads, because pacifism. Peace is in the minds of the faithful. Oh my goodness. So if you want to say, hey, no, please don't tromp on my head, then you are no longer faithful to peace.
Wow!
Destitution leaves little room for faith. My actions allowed the people hope in your leadership.
The supplies I bought on the black market kept you in power.
The people made willing sacrifices for their freedom.
It seems like they were the only ones sacrificing. Well, you sat above them in all your finery, living the good life.
He's going on, you know, like, oh, I was the hero of the people because the people were destitute and I brought in wealth. It just said that they're like, there's 2,000 other neutral systems.
The fate of 2,000 other neutral systems is under threat.
Are you telling me there's no trade? There's no, like, legitimate, like, wealth being created? He had to turn to the black market because otherwise the people would be destitute. And then it's like, well, okay, but the people were still destitute because you were being corrupt. You know, you were lining your own pockets. You were lining Satine's pockets. You were just keeping her in power. You weren't helping the people. And then, yeah, she's all like, oh, well, the people had to be destitute for the sake of peace, and they were willing to do that. Well, how do you know they were willing to do that? Because obviously what you thought they were is not what they are, because they're turning on you. And it sounds so privileged. The people were willing to sacrifice, you know, their quality of life for peace. Well, you sat up there in all your finery and had, you know, full square meals. And that's the other weird thing, though, is that the people of Mandalore don't look very destitute. No, not really. They have a very rich-looking city. Like, when we saw the schools when they were investigating the, like, illnesses, like, it looked like the kids were getting free lunches. Like, they didn't seem to be gruel and water. It was, you know, this, like, tea that they were getting and proper food. And so it's like, I don't understand where Olmec got his idea that, oh, they're living in destitution and I must turn to the black market to, like...
Well, that was while he was supplying them with stuff off the black market, so...
Right.
But you are right that, like, even now you can see, like, it's a very rich-looking city. The people all look cared for.
This isn't Nalhada.
No.
Not
far from
any
it.
stretch of the imagination.
Will you stop doing that?
I don't have an interest in the other systems.
We read that comic about Zane Carrick, and you get to see the Mandalorians in that. And they quite literally are just going around conquering other systems because that's what they do. They have to be fighting all the time. That's like their religion. And he's like, I want to bring back the old religion. I'm not interested in the other systems. What?
Filoni just doesn't understand the Mandalorians at all. He doesn't understand Star Wars at all.
What are you trying to bring back? Whoa, we have to bring back our honor, our dignity, our fighting, we're just gonna sit here peacefully, minding our own business. That's exactly what Satine was doing. Satine is weak! She's corrupting the people!
Your vision no longer matters.
Whoa, did he just do the whole, your vision no longer matters?
That's kind of what it looks like.
They must be short on cells or something because, like...
It's like they don't have to. They could put them in side-by-side cells like they have with Olmec and Satine. They'd still be able to talk and be just as stupid because then everyone would be able to hear them.
I wish a tour of this facility.
I just love that.
I know! We can leave whenever we want.
There's no one left now but Almec and I, but he's as corrupt and vile as you.
Really?
Well, thanks for the tip!
What do you think he's just walking around?
Satine imprisoned me on charges of corruption and conspiracy for using the black market.
Can you believe that? All I was doing is going through the black market and she accuses me of corruption? Just...
He caused the death of children.
In the chain of command, you're up here, he's down here. And it was your ignorance and just like, everything is fine, the people are happy, I'm up in my silver palace. Who could possibly be unhappy? You're responsible too.
If you defeat him, according to the ancient laws of Mandalore, his soldiers will be honor-bound to follow you.
Precisely.
Maul talked as if he already knew it.
I guess he
know
did
it?
his homework when they were hanging out.
For 5 minutes.
Well, no, there was a montage.
I guess.
Don't know how long it was. Now Bo-Katan's like, oh no, he's dying, I was right, these monsters. She went into the plan knowing Duchess Satine was going to die. They haven't shown us at all that she's changed her mind and she wants her sister to survive. She's realizing, okay, we've bit off more than we can chew with these guys. But that doesn't equate to, oh crap, I don't want my sister to die after all.
No outsider will ever rule Mandalore.
Thing is, in Legends, basically anyone could become a Mandalorian.
So what's this whole outsider?
Maul is not interested in becoming a Mandalorian or living by the Mandalorian code, so I guess, yeah, in that sense, he's an outsider.
Duchess Satine has murdered 3 visitors.
How would the pacifist murder the warrior? Like, I think by now the people would know what Satine is capable of.
This doesn't raise any red flags for anybody.
We will be known as the warriors we were always meant to be.
People are all like, yeah, that's what we want! We want to be warriors!
TCW's crowds are the embodiment of useful idiots.
On one hand, I understand. As soon as you bring reality into writing your crowds, you have a bigger scope. Because, yeah, then you essentially are creating an entire Andron arc underneath this arc. And it just, for what you're trying to present, the story you're trying to tell, it just takes too much time to add in all that extra stuff. But then it's like, I guess you can't just leave the people out of it. But then again, you could do it where, you know, you imply that announcements are being made and stuff like that, but you don't actually show it so that you don't see 100% of the people being like, yes, I believe everything you say! You are a good person, yay! Or, you know, you could have crowd scenes where you're showing the crowd and some people are like, yeah, and other people are like, That's all it takes. You don't have to explore it, you just have to show, yeah, not everyone's cheering like this is like their birthday. There's some people who are looking concerned, there's some people who are scratching their head, there's some people who are, you know, just looking around at the others like, is no one else? What am I like? I guess I'll just go along with everyone else for now. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
which is how I feel watching the show. You don't have to explore it, but you can imply it, and that's enough. And yeah, they just nuance.
Are these people a hive mind? Because that's what it's feeling like.
They had their one episode that pretended to have nuance, so they're done. They put in their quota. We're good.
Yeah.
Covers all the bases, you know?
No actual effort required.
This show is awful, terrible, disgusting. See you next week, of course.
Will you please stop trying to bite my fingers off? I'm going mad.